Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I want to recap the Orlando Magic versus LA Laker game tonight in the Staples Crow, whatever it's going to be called. Anyway, very good win for the Los Angeles Lakers. One of the best offensive games they've played all year. Um, they had a standout third quarter, where they won that quarter 36-10, and it was led by LeBron James. This is one of those situations where LeBron James just played a really fantastic basketball game. Particularly on the offensive end, but also on the defensive end, chasing down blocks, doing all kinds of stuff for his team tonight, and was the reason why we were ultimately able to really dominate the Orlando Magic in that third quarter. Um, I saw some good things out of THT, which I was hoping to see him kind of shake off some of that rust. Um, Avery Bradley carried over the momentum from the previous game where he played very well. You saw the bigs kind of get involved. Dwight and DJ, being that AD was not available tonight, we were able to have some play out of them and keep up with them on the defensive glass. Now on the offensive glass, we were not having a whole lot of success. Rather stopping them from getting offensive boards, to be exact. They continued to get second chance points for themselves quite a bit, while we only got about 6 offensive rebounds. So they did win the rebounding edge, but we kept up with them on the defensive glass. So for what it's worth, it just is what it is. I thought, to be honest with you, what I was having trouble with, of course, was links, so I didn't really get a chance to see the whole game and context of everything. But I was really curious to see why Mo Bamba only played like 15 minutes tonight. I know for a fact the Lakers were able to take advantage of the paint repeatedly. We were definitely in the paint. LeBron was just cutting to the glass. Um, Westbrook was cutting. Everybody was getting layups. THT, they were getting scoop shots. Everybody was getting basically in the inside. And I was just curious to see, because one of the things that the Orlando Magic really hang their hat on is shot blocking. Mo Bamba's having a breakout season. He's healthy. He was out there. I don't know why he only played 15 minutes, and I think if he would have played his full spectrum of minutes, I think they would have had a better chance against us out there. So I was very curious to see why that happened. I don't know, but I was happy they did it because it definitely worked in our favor. Carmelo Anthony played very well tonight. I love the fact that he was able to hit some shots and continue to do what it is that he does well. He had some pep in his step this evening, and I really liked that. Austin Reeves had some good games of some good plays out there. Once again, working himself back into the equation from injury. Happy to see him back. You just really appreciate that the Los Angeles Lakers had a easy game tonight against a team that's not really that good. They were missing a couple of players, and um, some of the guys that they did have out there weren't really giving them a whole lot. So you just really appreciate the fact that we were able to get a easy game out of this situation. Given the fact that we've had our struggles all season long with bad teams, it's good to get a couple quick victories against some bad teams. So that's what we were able to do. Take advantage of Orlando and their struggles. Win that coaching matchup. This is the second game in a row I can honestly say Frank Vogel won the coaching matchup. And look, this is the game plan I want to see the Lakers take every day in their approach. They shot 40 plus from three tonight, 40 plus percent from three, and did not shoot too many. So they kept it low and hit a high percentage. And then they continued to aggressively get into the paint, shooting close to 50%. It was 40, I think 6% from the paint on the inside and 40% from the outside. So when you shoot that well and you take care of your basketball and take care of your possessions, get those quality possessions that I always talk about, you're going to have success. And that's exactly what we saw from the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. They took possessions seriously, which is something I complain about quite a bit. So to see that was super encouraging. Um, just very pleased with how the Lakers approached this game, the game plan that they had this evening, how they went about executing that game plan, and just making a fool out of me. Because at the beginning of in the previous video, rather, uh, speaking about the game as it was approaching, I was expecting us to fall in love with the three because of the fact that they had shot blockers out there that could give us trouble in the paint. But being that they removed their best shot blocker from the game, it kind of put us in a position to aggressively attack that paint and not really have to worry about that. So, like I said, the Orlando Magic played straight into our hands, and I love when coaches make mistakes like that. I feel like the Orlando Magic, I looked on their bench, And I looked at the players that were playing, and I honestly say, I just feel like I truly believe that rosters aren't used properly by coaches in the NBA right now. Now, I looked at half of the team and the way that team was played, who played what minutes and all that. I would have used that team so different against the Lakers tonight. I would have done so many different things. RJ Hampton would have been more featured tonight. Chuma Okeke would have been a more offensive player. He had a good season last year and has taken many steps back because of the players that they have that have stepped in front of him. Players that like Wagner that they've drafted and to give big minutes to. I like Wagner. He's great. He's going to be fine. He had a good game tonight. But you don't want to let Chuma not play, forgetting that he was the guy that held y'all down when y'all didn't have anything after you traded away pretty much the entire roster during the middle of the season. He was the only guy that could put up any points, and now he can't seem to get any minutes out there. I just feel like that's the wrong way to go in terms of developing players. So, little stuff like that. I just look at Orlando and I just say I don't know where they are right now. So I'm not going to sit up here and criticize, but what I can say is I would have did some totally different things out there, and I think I would have got better results. But that's just me. Who am I, right? At the end of the day, I'm very happy to be on this side because the Los Angeles Lakers took advantage of those things, and we got a great victory out of it. And look, we're happy to beat anybody at this point. We're not going to sit up here and say, yo, it's just a bad team. We're supposed to win. No, at this stage in the game, we want to play well. If we play well against the best team in the league, cool. If we play well against the worst team in the league, cool. But the point is we need to start playing well, and that's exactly what we saw the Lakers do tonight. So I was about as encouraged with this particular game as I've been with any game we've played all season. I'm not going to say it was the best game we played all season, but it was definitely the best executed game I've seen us play in terms of having a game plan and not deviating from what worked. We continued to attack. We continued to keep our threes down, and that's the bottom line. Now, and 13 turnovers. You know me. I say the Lakers, if we're hitting somewhere anywhere between 0 and 14 turnovers, that's good enough for me. We got 13, and we also got the victory. So that number that I'm looking for the turnovers is 14. That's the magic number. Anytime we go over that, I'm expecting to lose. Anytime we go under that, we have a chance to win. That's pretty much how I'm looking at it. So yeah, man, Avery Bradley, somebody who definitely deserves a lot of respect. He really has played well these last 2 games. I've been killing him lately for being not as productive as he needs to be. But tonight he gave me what I needed to see for the second night in a row. So as long as he continues to play this way, you won't hear me say anything negative, period. So that's what I wanted to say about that. But yeah, I mean, game ball goes to the king, man. This is about King. He saw an opportunity to really take advantage of a weak, soft defense out there in that Orlando Magic team. They didn't really put up a fight at all tonight defensively, and we were able to take advantage of it. He sparked the team with a bunch of really, really nice plays on both ends. I was a big fan of some of those fadeaways he was hitting, some of those awkward type of back to the basket plays. There was a moment in the third quarter, I think it was like around the 5-minute mark, where he went back to the basket on somebody, bang, 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 back to the basket, real bully ball type of stuff, and then got a pass off to Dwight Howard for a dunk. I just thought that was one of the best possible sequences for my eyesight in regards to LeBron James, because that is LeBron at his best. He can do that to anybody pretty much any time who's not taller than him or bigger than him, and I just feel like he doesn't always take advantage of that. But when he does that, when he gets into his bag where he's really feeling himself, he can do things that he doesn't often do that really plays into his hands. So the key to LeBron James, I'm learning in some cases, is just momentum. And not necessarily the momentum of the game, but just how he's feeling about himself. And the more he gets in his rhythm, the more he starts getting the flex and all that stuff, the more you'll see him do things that actually play into his hands a bit better. Instead of settling for 3-point shots and stuff like that when the momentum is low, when the momentum's high and his teammates are playing well, suddenly you start seeing him bang, back to the basket stuff, pushing people around. Suddenly you see him starting to make dart passes, rhythm passes that do things that ultimately continue that momentum. So as I study these players, him and Russell Westbrook actually played better together without AD than I thought, because they both have a propensity to feed off of the momentum of the teammates who are playing well around them. And so that's what I saw tonight, was LeBron able to spark the team feed off of him, and then him feed off of them feeding off of him. That's what I saw. That's exactly what I saw. In that third quarter, it came to a perfect storm, and we just ran out of the gym. That's exactly what happened. He got off to an early start. in that third quarter, and then the other guys started picking it up. Then you start seeing THT and Avery Bradley and other bigs start getting involved. And by the time that quarter ended, we were up 36-10, or having won that quarter 36-10, I should say. So the Lakers did give back the lead, let the Orlando Magic cut it to 10 in the fourth quarter. But LeBron James hit some key shots, stopped the bleeding. But I'll tell you, man, I didn't get a chance to see what actually gave that lead back up. Whether we went small or not, I just was having a lot of trouble in that fourth quarter finding links. So I honestly don't have context for you guys, and I ain't going to lie about it. But we did end up giving up that lead, and ultimately still closed out. We closed out. But it's just a point, you got to a point where the Lakers are up 23, and then you're looking in the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and we're only up 10. So we're not out the woods. No lead is ever safe with us because our defense is just so bad. And even though we had good defensive sequences tonight, particularly from the King, that doesn't translate to us necessarily being able to relax at all. We just don't have good enough defensive abilities, as a team. We just don't. No matter how much we're up by, you best believe if the other team is aggressive, they will cut into that lead. It's not even about being mad at the team. It's just understanding that we do not play defense. So that's that. But with that being said, we've played better defense in these last two games than we played all season. So for whatever that's worth, the Lakers did have a better defensive game than usual. So encouragement. I don't know what to think of this team because I was encouraged by the Boston game. They went to Memphis, gave back all of that momentum, and then went up against Oklahoma City the next night, got a victory, came out tonight, looked great. So I just don't know what to think about this bipolar basketball team. I honestly don't. I know we have the Dallas Mavericks coming up on, I believe that's Tuesday. Luka Doncic is not going to be expected to play in that game. He's hurt, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be a real interesting game to see how we aggressively attack a team who's missing pretty much their entire system. And I'll make a video about that. The guy that I'm looking forward to seeing down there is Jalen Brunson. He is trying to kind of do like Cole Anthony is from the Orlando Magic. He's kind of along in that same lane, to be honest with you. I look at them in the same way as to where they're both breaking out, and they're both kind of like, point guard players that I expect to see really step into their own very, very soon. So Jalen Brunson is the next one up. Without Luka Doncic, it's usually him trying to enforce his will, and that's what I expect to see. But anyway, yeah, back to this game, I just ultimately liked what I saw, Not that I was able to see too much, but all in all, you have to be appreciative of the fact that the Lakers played well. Keep your turnovers down, shoot a high 3-point percentage while keeping those shots down. And you just love the fact that the Lakers weren't as stagnant tonight. And we know what it is. We know what it is. And everybody's going to say it. All the casual fans are going to say it. And the savvy fans are going to say it too. The Lakers look a lot better without Anthony Davis. These last two games, we look a lot better without him. The eye test just is what it is. When he struggles, there's two things that happen. Possessions are not his quality because he's bricking shots. And that's shots taken away from the team. And most importantly, those are plays not being run. And the repetition of our plays is very important because we're trying to get our continuity together. So when we run plays that go to AD and they turn into nothing, that's plays that we don't run for the team as a whole. So that's something I noticed. LeBron James, he's going to make plays for others because that's part of his functionality. Russell Westbrook, same thing. They are assist players. Anthony Davis is not. So when you run plays for Anthony Davis, if they turn into nothing, it's just that, nothing. No repetition for plays that you need to be running, and ultimately a lost possession once again. So we saw a lack of that. And plus, another thing about Anthony Davis that is really struggling in this offense is his speed. He's slow. We have Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Russell Westbrook and LeBron James are two of the best fast break players the game has ever seen. They feed off of speed. Anthony Davis is not a speed demon by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, he's very slow-footed at this stage in his career. Now, can he turn that around? I'm hopeful. I think he needs to if we're going to be at our best. But ultimately, for the time being, while he's out with his knee injury, the Lakers look great. And why is that? It's because we don't have him slowing us down. And We have bigs on the floor. See, the thing about us is we love going small because we have Anthony Davis. When we don't have Anthony Davis, Frank Vogel is forced to play our centers. And that, by default, makes us a better rebounding team, which means more quality possessions, which means we get away with more on the defensive end, which means we're ultimately a better team because guys are going to always want to do more when they don't feel like they're wasting their time just jogging back and forth. And that's exactly what happens when Anthony Davis is shooting mid-range jumpers and hitting only 16% of them. So you understand that as long as Anthony Davis is struggling and slow-footed, he's going to take something from our team. I don't care how great he is with his length, and I don't care how many different things he is supposed to be able to affect. If he's struggling, he's a liability, and that's exactly what happens out there. So with him being removed, we saw more continuity, more quality shots, more aggressive plays to the paint, less stagnation in our offense, more ball movement, more people movement, more engaged shooters because they're not having possessions that are lost doing nothing. And that is most important right now. Quality possessions. We must take our possessions seriously, and that is why I'm holding Anthony Davis accountable. When he comes back, he needs to be able to keep this offensive continuity going, meaning foot speed is not something you can control. But them stupid, lazy jumpers, we don't want none of that. You cut that crap out, and you make sure we run solid, quality plays for everybody on this team so we can have that continuity that I'm talking about. We need reps on our plays. We're not getting enough practice time, in my opinion. So that's really what it comes down to. Games like this are our practice. When we come into an Orlando Magic situation where we're at home, they're undermanned, we took advantage. That's exactly what you want to see. I think Vogel's buying himself some time. That's what I think. I think if he would have lost these 2 games, he'd be on the clock. But right now, he's buying himself time. The team's looking better. And I think a lot of that has to do with Anthony Davis just not being out there and LeBron James playing more loose because of it. And that's something else I want to say. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this, but LeBron James plays a hell of a lot better when Anthony Davis ain't out there. And it's because of the same reasons I've already just said. For one, LeBron James is not forced to do too much in the paint trying to overcompensate for Anthony Davis's inability to box out and rebound. LeBron James is forced to be a part of small ball lineups that doesn't complement him with a real center because AD's not a real center. But when you put Dwight Howard on the floor with LeBron James, he has a real center down there who's going to do traditional center things, and that's much, much more conducive for what it is LeBron James is about, which is not trying to overcompensate for others' inability to do things physically. At this stage in his career, that is not a good thing. So that's something I also noticed out there. He plays more free. The pace is better. The fast break is much smoother. It's not a lot of stagnation, etc., etc. So all of this being said, I can't wait for Anthony Davis to get back. You know what I mean? I'm not giving up on Anthony Davis, but I am saying that we are very much enjoying the continuity of our offense, minus his stagnant play. So hopefully he heals up, gets back 100%, does what he needs to do to get back 100%, and does not try to rush himself back. Do not rush back. Take your time. So, yeah, that's what I got to say, man. That's what I got to say. It was a good game out there tonight. I'm just glad THT is shaking off the rust. That is ever so important. I haven't mentioned Malik Monk because I didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of him tonight, to be completely honest with you. I don't know what kind of game he had. I just missed him. With the link issues I had, I just missed him. So that was really that. But all in all, our team won. That's most important. We're stacking wins together. We're not just piling losses, we're piling wins, which means we can stay above the fray. So we had a recipe for success. If we try to play the game like this every night, I think we'll have a lot of better games than worse games, put it like that. This is really what it comes down to. Good, high-quality possessions for the Los Angeles Lakers. My name is BDF44. I think I'm done. Is that it? Yeah. Game ball goes to Bron. Thanks, y'all. Peace.